Yeah, just want to congratulate Richie Saunders on being named first team All Big 12 as well as most improved player. Yegor as as honorable mention All League and first team freshman in the Big 12. Thought we had some other guys that were deserving, but happy for those guys. I mean, those are definitely team awards as well. Obviously, there's a lot goes into having individual success, and our guys are well aware of that. So happy for those two young men, to represent our university in that those awards. So with that, I'll open it up.
Thanks, Coach. We'll open up for questions. Dave, go ahead.
Coach, how has Richie progressed from when you met him last spring to first team All Big 12?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. He's obviously got an unbelievable work ethic and just an unbelievable motor. So those are the things that drive him and help him be successful. I think it's been a good marriage in terms of the way we like to play and his strengths. I think it's kind of been a poster child for when two things like that meet in a good way. And so it's just been a seamless fit, and he's been he's been great at adapting to a couple of things that are maybe different, and then utilizing his strengths within how we like to operate. So he's taken full advantage of that opportunity.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
Kevin, how would you assess how you're bringing the NBA kind of processes to college basketball? And, so far so good, it seems like, but how would you assess how it's worked?
I think that's a good way to phrase it, Jay, in terms of the processes. I mean, that's just as much, I feel like, what I've tried to bring here as much as anything. I'm a systems-oriented guy. I'm a process-oriented guy. So, lot of years on the pro side of seeing how things were done there, and was able to, customize it to the way I want to run things here. And was able to bring in a lot of people that understood how I wanted to do that. And I think it makes us unique in a certain respects in terms of how we operate across the board, whether that's, pregame warm-up, as silly as that sounds. I mean, we do it very unique here relative to other college teams, but much more from an NBA side. We've talked, I think, a lot about a lot of our support staff. And so anyways, it rears its head, I think, across our program, and it's sort of the backbone of how we systematically kind of operate.
As a follow-up, has there been anything that just didn't work that you scrapped, or has everything pretty much worked?
No, I mean, I think there's nothing jumps off the page, but there are some things that we just had to move past. But I think some of that was more, I think systematically, no, everything systematically I think has gone to sort of as planned. And we style of play, we've had to tweak a couple of different things, given our roster and this roster's strengths versus weaknesses and so forth. But for the most part, it's been pretty seamless trying to implement, a lot of the systems that we just talked about.
We'll go Mitch and then Sam.
Kevin, what's the mindset of this staff and the team as how you guys view the conference tournament? Are you looking to go in there and win the whole thing, or just trying to get better? Like, what's the mindset going into this, knowing that probably you're pretty safe in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, and I always preface cliches by saying I know this is cliche, but it really has been our mantra, taking things game by game and day by day. So that approach for me is not going to change. We'll see who our opponent is in game one, and we'll prepare for that game just like we did every other game throughout this year. I think that's what I learned a lot with this group. They have done well with keeping like a singular focus and not trying to look, past anything. So that's how we're going to approach this.
I wanted to ask you too. It's a little bit, big picture program question. In a couple of weeks, and I know you're looking to make a long run in the postseason, but do you already have a sense of like where players stand for next year with the portal opening up in a couple of weeks? Do you already have those conversations taking place and really kind of have an idea of where guys stand for next year and beyond?
Yeah, it's tricky. I think, in a perfect world, all that stuff is after the fact. But the way things are laid out, that's not the case. So, there's some conversations here and there. I mean, a lot of it with not necessarily the athlete, but maybe their support systems and so forth like that, trying to get a feel for, where things are. It's a tricky balance, and I'd be lying to you if I said we'd had it figured out. So we're just trying to focus on the now, to be honest with you. And, some of that stuff you can get ahead of, but some of it you just can't avoid, like the timing of it. And, we'll have to play it by ear, unfortunately, on some of it.
Go ahead, Sam.
Coach, have you had any interactions or crossover with Alex Jensen, your NBA coaching days?
Yes, I have. Yeah, when I was the head coach of the Iowa Energy, me and Alex went to dinner at the Drake Diner, which has great wings. If you ever find yourself in Des Moines, Tyson, we should have went there when we were stuck in Des Moines the other day. But yeah, man, I go pretty far back with Alex. A lot of respect for him and his coaching career. We have a lot of similarities. So yes, I do.
And then just overall update on the health of the team headed into the Big 12, and if it comes to the point where, maybe some players are banged up, any potential chance at resting some players for the tournament?
I mean, if our medical group, felt like resting a guy was in the best interest of our team, I would do that because those guys are smarter than me and I listen to what they say. As it relates to the health of the group, we got this time of year, I think every team's got and every player's got some kind of a bump or bruise. So we're definitely dealing with that. Cannon's obviously missed a couple of games. He's, we're trying to get him back. He's going through the protocols and so forth. So he continues to kind of be on a day-to-day type deal. And that's kind of where we are.
All right, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, I had the same question about Cannon. So, next question.
All right, anybody else have any questions? Oh, Mitch, go ahead.
I'm curious, Kevin, you've had this expanded rotation for quite some time during this winning streak. What do you attribute that guys have, no matter what their output in a game, whether it's a significant impact or maybe the minutes aren't going their way one night, what do you attribute as the reason why this team always stays invested and they're always ready for their moment when called upon?
No, it's a great question. I think there's a couple answers there. I think one, I think it speaks to the character of the guys we have in our locker room and in our program. I think it also speaks to the relationships that our assistant coaches have with our players. Keeping the guys in the boat, rowing in the same direction. Always being there to just work with them and keep them, focused on what they can do to continue to get better. And then, our guys they want to win, and I think when you're able to win, like we have, I think it's hard to not be invested, because at the end of the day, I think every guy that's a high-level competitor wants to win. Some guys want to win on their own accord, and that can be a challenge to put that aside. But I give each one of our guys credit. They've done that. And I know it's not easy for guys. I could go down the list of why every single guy on our team deserves more minutes than they're currently getting. But it's just something that we found that has honestly, we've just kind of tripped on it. And it's been a strength of this team. Hopefully it kind of comes to even more to the forefront where, especially in the conference tournament where, these teams, at least our first opponent, will have to play us on a back-to-back, and then you got to win 3-3. So hopefully our depth can pay dividends there. And as we advance into the NCAAs, keeping a fresh group out there has been something that's helped us.
And just also wanted to ask, I remember last summer you pointed out guys like Richie and Dallin as being leaders of the team early on when you settled in. Has that materialized where they're still the top two leaders, and have other guys kind of joined the ranks of leaders on this team as you head into the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have a three-headed monster of our captains with the two you mentioned, Trev and Richie. Excuse me, the three-headed monsters, Trev and Richie and Dallin. You know, I've seen other guys kind of start to, you know, speak up. You know, I think Mawut's a guy who, with his experience, you know, speaks up as well. But, yeah, I mean, those three guys have really, you know, kind of been our leaders and who I've kind of, you know, relied on as the season's progressed.
All right, we'll finish with you, PK.
You got me, Coach?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of programs that are national programs, they're viewed as success is defined by how well they do in the postseason. I don't want to put that label completely on you, but how much do you want to have that label, knowing that means you have a team that is capable and usually does make deep runs in the tournament?
Yeah, no, I welcome it. I mean, that's the whole point, is to have postseason success, and you know, that's what you want. So I welcome it head on.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see most of you in Kansas City. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.